Hi Taurus, welcome to Higher Source Tarot for your weekly tarot check for the week of May 24th through May 31st. This is for all Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So if that's you, you are in the right spot. And I want to thank all of you who've been watching my readings, subscribed, liked, shared, and commented on videos. I really appreciate that. And I do try to reply in some form. Sometimes I look and the replies are not always there, which is strange. I don't really know where they go, but anyway, it's kind of, YouTube's kind of a funny business. So I do appreciate you though, and I do read them and do my best to respond. And if you're new, I'd love to have you as a subscriber and just hit the bell if you want to be notified when new videos are posted. But I will tell you, they're generally every week, okay? So I'll do a weekly tarot check, a mid-month, a monthly, and then I've added a love tarot reading on the first Friday of the month called Is It in the Cards? So we'll also do that. And occasionally I do bonus readings, but once a week for sure. So this is for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. But if the reading doesn't resonate with you, don't try to force yourself into it. Look at another part of your chart, and you may find that's more applicable for you at this time. Time is fluid, speaking of time. And so with these readings, it's weekly, but if there's a lot of major arcana, it's very tough to say that level of energy is going to be contained within 1 week. Certainly the energies can creep over into the next week, or if there's some kind of a time indicator, I will give you that too. All right, so that's enough shuffling, and let's see what is going to go on for Taurus this week, May 24th through the 31st. If you're new, we go day by day, so we start off beautiful on Sunday with the 10 of Cups. You get into the 8 of Swords on Monday. Tuesday, you've got the Ace of Swords. Wednesday, you've got the Knight of Wands. Thursday, you've got Judgment. Friday, you have the High Priestess here. You have the World on Saturday, and then you conclude with the Lovers. Very nice. So you have Taurus here, you have Gemini, you have air, and you've got fire and water here too. You begin here with, happiness for everybody. And so it's the 10 of Cups, but in this card, when these cards were designed over 100 years ago, 110 years ago, this rainbow was to signify that it was coming after a time of crisis, and there was a promise that good things were coming, that hope was coming, that happiness. And so that's why the parents are holding their arms up to the rainbow and rejoicing. It's like there's a sense of relief here on Sunday. And I definitely feel that for some of you, where maybe you've just had kind of a gray energy. I feel like there's this gray cloud over somebody, and it lifts, and it's like this huge relief where they can tell they're turning a corner and feeling a lot better. Some of you have wanted a reconciliation with somebody. You've got a soulmate out there that you've been disconnected with, and it's been painful, and I don't see it necessarily coming to fruition this week, but there's definitely an energy here. This person is thinking of you too, and wondering about you, and not feeling quite right with the way things stand right now. I will tell you that. And it's like they're kicking this idea around in their head. Definitely could be a Gemini, or another air sign, could be a Libra, could be Aquarius, but they definitely are kicking this idea around and even visualizing of, it's almost like they have these steps in their head. When this happens, then, it's like this if-then thing that they've got going, and a lot of overthinking. Now, Monday, you've got this 8 of Swords, and so for those of you, some of you may be working right now and have the day off on Monday, and there's a little bit of an element of keeping ourselves hostage here, okay? And I'm getting for somebody here freedom from bondage, and it's like you've got these, she's loosely tied. She could walk free anytime, but she doesn't want to see some things around her. There's just things that are painful she doesn't want to look at, and she feels trapped, but she's not really. And so know that that's our own mental prison. So just be careful to be on Monday, be in action and not too much thinking. We tend to have this great addiction to thinking, and it doesn't always serve us, because we can go right to the most negative scenarios and worst case scenarios, and those will give us a vibration, lower the vibration, and attract more things to worry about in our lives. So we always have to be careful when we see this Eight of Swords. It's interesting because eights in the tarot mean movement. Okay, so when you think of like the Eight of Wands, there's like quick movement. This is a lack of movement. So it's movement, yes, but it's complete restraint. So things are not necessarily moving forward on Monday, but you can avoid being pulled down into a negative vibration by being aware of that. And that's where tarot gives us guidance. If I know going into Monday that I have some energy there that I don't want to walk into, I can make some plans for myself ahead of time and decide, I don't want a situation like that. So, because you have free will in any of this. So don't think when you read this, oh my God, this horrible thing's going to happen. Now, I use my own psychic abilities and really it's mediumship that I'm using to give you interpretations. And those, you may say, well, it resonates, now what? Then my guidance there would be aware of that and create something for yourself so that on Monday you won't get caught in that. Tuesday, that you do have clarity and you do have communication coming through. So very different energy from one day to the next. And I actually think this starts to carry you through the rest of the week. You just really have Monday. That's a little bit of a cautionary issue, but the rest of the week looks very clear. So you have, with this Ace of Swords, it is communication coming through. And I think for some of you, it has to do more with work and more direction about what's going on there. So if those of you that are at work have had some questions, I actually think you're going to get some kind of a new assignment. And there may be somebody that you work with that has not been truthful, or it may be something else that was related to, it's something with a business where somebody wasn't truthful. Maybe it's not work necessarily, but it's some business you've been dealing with that hasn't been truthful about something, and the truth is going to come out. There's definitely going to be communication with you, and you may do your own detective work and find it yourself too. You have on Wednesday, you've got this Knight of Wands, and I do feel like whoever that's related to, I don't feel that this is the love interest. I feel like it's whatever's related to this Ace of Swords here. They're kind of arrogant. They kind of say whatever they want and think people will just accept it at face value. And again, this could be a company or some representative who's trying to get one over on you. And they kind of give you a starting point just to see if you'll accept it. But if you push them, they'll cave. I'm already going to tell you that. You'll be able to get what you need if it's money or something, like there was some kind of a contract they weren't able to fulfill and they don't want to give you a refund. You just need to push back a little bit, because this person is very arrogant and they know what they're doing. But I do think Thursday, you've got this Judgment card. You're going to get information. You're going to get it, it's going to get more settled. You might not, if it's money on the line, you might not get it on Thursday, but you'll get some kind of a decision on it. And I also think too, for some of you with a previous relationship, you are going to, the path to reconciliation for that is by really being able to forgive the past and just completely let go of it. If the more that we have vengeance or resentment, even with somebody that we love and want to bring back, it makes it almost impossible. It creates such a barrier there. And so with this, it's going to be time to really be able to let go of that. Really be able to accept the past experience and just move forward. So it's time to get on with the future when you see this card. It's interestingly enough, because you have Judgment and then you have the World over here. So I really like that too. Very strong. You have a very strong end of the week with all major arcana. So you have the High Priestess here. And again, I do get this feeling of this person that you're dealing with is not being true to themselves. And they may not even be acting like themselves completely here, because this really is a card of deception, and it can be, it's also about using your own intuition. So those of you that are, seeing this person's car around or other things like their date of birth and feeling like it's synchronicity, and know that they are thinking of you. Like I said earlier in the reading, they are thinking of you, but there's something holding them back. I feel like it's pride, it's ego, and they're doing whatever they can to try to kind of distance themselves. They don't want to let their guard down completely, and I almost feel like they're hanging out with a group of people where they are completely uncomfortable. They are not being themselves. They know that they're not, and it's getting very hard for them to continue. I may have mentioned this in a previous reading, but the High Priestess is after, it's really kind of a myth, I think, but the Pope of Joan. So it was a woman masquerading as a pope. And so when we see this card, I mean, it really is the epitome of you're really not being true to yourself. Then you get into the world, and this takes you into Saturday, and where I feel like this is really about you having complete freedom, not caring what other people think of you, and really feeling success. This also too is about the soul's ascension, because it's the last major arcana, so where the Fool begins, this is the completion of the soul's journey. So for some of you, if you have been really working to, you know, ascend yourself spiritually, get to a higher vibrational level, you're doing it. You absolutely are doing it, and things are coming in. They're being attracted to that. It's also the completion. So for some of you, if there's been some negative energy, like I said, you've got Judgment and the World here. So if you've been fighting with somebody over money, that is going to be coming to a conclusion, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be like a real release from being chained to something. Just being tied down to some kind of a negative aspect where, again, it feels like it's been money related. Could be something too with even child support where somebody didn't want to pay. It just, again, there's a feeling of attainment there, but a release. And then on Sunday here, you do have the Lovers. And now the Lovers is a soulmate card. It also can be about a decision or a choice. And that has been, you know, embedded throughout the reading, that a decision is going to be made. But I do feel like for you, this person who's trying to come in, they are turning a corner. They're really turning a corner and wanting to be more vocal with you about really expressing who they are, taking that mask off, being transparent, and being able to show. I mean, we talk about transparency when you have these two on the card and they're completely naked. You know, there's nothing to hide here, and that's what it is. They're ready to have a sit-down, really soul-to-soul conversation, really be honest, really upfront, and it will be a turning point. You know, for those of you that resonate with this, there's a turning point coming for you in that relationship, especially if it was on again, off again kind of stuff. It will be on again, you know, or if that's what you want. Again, like I said, we have free will, but this person's serious. So they just, even though they may not have been true to themselves, it's not that they didn't have you in their heart. They just were not sure really what to do, and I don't think they had the greatest advisement around them either. So we have this Oracle card for bringing more love into your life. So for those of you that are interested in love, love makes the difference. Love helps heal past hurts and provides a sense of security and self-worth. So love, I think, is, you know, brings meaning to life, doesn't it? I mean, it's not just the, you know, it's not the material attainments really that bring that level of satisfaction. Oftentimes it is having love in our lives. So, you know, sit down, make your intentions clear, and focus on the things that you want. Focus on those positive aspects, and that's what you'll draw into you. I can pivot from feeling bad to good. So this is Money and the Law of Attraction from Abraham Hicks. As you look for a better feeling way to approach whatever you are giving your attention to, as you continue to ask yourself from your ever-changing vantage point, what is it that I do want? Eventually you will be standing in a very pleasing place, for you cannot continually ask yourself what it is that you do want without your point of attraction beginning to pivot in that direction. The process will be gradual, but your continued application of the process will yield wonderful results in only a few days. So, and we think about not how am I going to get this thing, but why do I want it? When you focus on the why, what is your why, that brings things towards you. There's a powerful magnetic energy when you can really get into that energy field of why do I want this and what would it feel like to have it. So I love you so much, Taurus, and I'll be back again in a week for your June reading.